Good morning. Finally stopped raining. This is a good day for doing a quick ride and maybe reflect on my observations from working at the dealership for a couple of months. And when I say dealership, I'm talking about a BMW motorcycle dealership. I've been riding BMWs for the last 10 years, so that's nothing new for me, and I already own two bikes. Before I started to work there, still own the same bikes. My favorite bike is my 2023 GS Adventure. That's the one I'm riding right now. I'm on my fourth GS Adventure. I had a GS before that, but frankly, GS is a small bike after you get used to ride a GS Adventure. So, continuing on with my 1250 Adventure, there's a 1300 coming here by the end of the year. I'm looking forward to see it. I'll probably still stick with my 1250. I prefer off-road riding, and this is gravel road, so this is not off-road, obviously, what we're on right now, but and really anything over 50 horsepower is just wheel spin off-road. All the electronic gizmos, you turn them off anyway when you get off-road, so no need for those, but we'll see. So a few observations, dealing with a few customers and selling a few bikes the last couple of months. I am definitely better at buying motorcycles than I am selling motorcycles. I enjoy the buying process of getting a bike for myself. I enjoy the selling process as well, but every time somebody rides away with a new bike, I kind of wish it was me. Same to be in accessories. I get a chance to obviously be around motorcycle accessories and gear all day long, and so far I spent probably all my salary on buying gear at the dealership, so which is not bad. Stuff I needed anyway. Some observations as far as customers goes. I would say BMW customers normally have good finances. I don't see a lot of people that don't get approved credit approvals. I hear that's more common at the dealership that sell a lot of sports equipment like ATVs, Japanese motorcycles, boats, all that stuff, but seems like the customers, at least in our neck of the woods, are financially solid and responsible. But one observation is the training or lack thereof that surprised me a little bit. Get a lot of people coming in that make the comment that I've been riding for 20 years, but when you start talking to them, they've never really taken any training after they initially got their license. And talking to younger riders, it seemed to be a little different in the mentality. Clearly, if you get your license from a MSF riding class, and then that's just your ticket to start practicing on your own. I think MSF has 2 levels, so you can get a level 2 as well. But I suggest making sure you get at least some training every year, whatever it might be. There's a lot of good training classes out there, on-road, off-road, police motor training. I try to take at least a class every year, and I tend to focus more on off-road, but riding is riding, so if you take a 2-day off-road riding class, that certainly helps you out with your on-road riding as well. And if you take a track class, it definitely helps you out with your road riding. I also once took a police motor training class, which was very, very helpful for low-speed practice, and high speed as well, by the way. But it teaches you to maneuver your motorcycle without dragging your feet and look like a clown. I will suggest to go with a school that has invested in real estate and equipment. Oops, it's a little bumpy here, sorry for that. It's just been raining, so it's a little muddy. I would say a school that actually have an investment, not just instructor that took a few classes and think that he or she now is going to be a trainer. So they put some ads out on Facebook and say, hey, I'm doing training, let's meet me in State Park so and so. They come in there with their truck and a trailer with the cooler in. That's your lunch, a couple of sandwiches and some water bottles. And that's not a training I would go for. I'm sure there are a lot of good independent instructors out there as well, but I would prefer a training school that actually invested in either a track or off-road riding, that's invested in facilities, bikes, instructors, and has a real curriculum. If they are not able to send you a curriculum before your class, what to expect as far as training, I would personally stay away from it. And if it's too generic, I don't know, that will be a red flag to me as well. I've seen a few people that taken a class, a 2-day off-road class, and then they make some notes and then they think they're skilled enough to train other students. In my opinion, they're not. So get training people. It's definitely something that will pay off for you in the long run. And again, I live in Michigan, so we have winters here. They're not that long, but they're long enough to get rusty in your riding skills. Another area I observe is that a lot of people like to have both feet on the ground for some reason, and I get that when you're a new rider, or if you're two up. Sometimes a passenger moves around in ways you don't prefer when you're at the traffic light, but I've talked to a few gentlemen that also have a hard time finding neutral on the bike, and I always ask the question, so why do you want to find neutral? The answer I get is two of them. One, when they park their bike, and my opinion is leave it in first gear. That's kind of your parking brake. If you park in a downhill slope or you put it on a kickstand, the bike will eventually possibly start rolling forward, and the kickstand's going to fold up. If you don't have a Harley, then they're going to stay down, obviously. And the bike's going to fall over on the left-hand side. So leave it in first gear. It's a little bit like driving a stick shift car. For all that you can drive a stick shift, you always leave it in first gear to make sure that it doesn't go anywhere for you. The other one is, I think, more concerning to me from a safety standpoint. People that say, well, I like to keep it in neutral when I sit at the traffic light so I can take my hands off the bar. I will definitely recommend rethinking that. There are cars coming from behind that may or may not see you or the car in front of you. There are cars that have been reared in trucks at traffic lights. So I always recommend keep it in first gear. Put your left foot on the ground, keep your right foot on your right peg, and keep the foot brake down. Keep your hands on the grips, and sure you know what's going on behind you. Until the cars behind you are stopped, you are not safe. Also make sure that you leave enough room in front of you so you can get out of the situation. If you see somebody's coming from behind and they are not intending to stop, make sure that you can get out, either to the left or the right of the car in front of you. But leave your way out. And if you look in your rearview mirrors, there's a car coming there, and you think that person is on his or her cell phone talking about the last lunch they had, just go forward past the car in front of you. Make sure you don't get rear-ended on a motorcycle. So I recommend keep it in gear, be ready to go. We're pretty vulnerable on a bike, especially if a big truck comes and hits us from behind. Besides that, training classes are fun. You meet new people, you might make new riding buddies. And I also recommend, especially if you do the off-road route or gravel road, which is not off-road, take a class over the weekend. And a lot of the schools have a tour the week after, either just a 2-day tour so you get used to riding on slippery surfaces, or a week-long tour. There are all over the world. I did this when I started out riding, both in the US and in Europe. It created great memories and certainly great training. I also recommend between training events, even if you don't get the chance to ride a lot of off-road or gravel road, take a chance to practice a little bit where you can. If you have areas you can ride where it's maybe little small hills, some trees to ride around, like slalom poles in a ski hill. I know it doesn't look that there's a lot of elevation changes here because it never does on camera, but it is a little bit. Enough camber that you have to lean the bike, have to play with the brakes to get around these trees. Not a big deal. It was probably a big deal the first time I did it. Not a big deal anymore. But it's always good if you get a chance, just practice. Well, that was it for today. I just wanted to get a quick ride in between rain showers, so thanks for listening in.